If you ever plan to motor west, drive my way, take the highway, that's the best. Get your kicks on Route 66. Y'all can help me with the numbers. It winds from Chicago to LA. Hello everybody, I'm Janelle Allbritton, as some of you may already know. And I'm so excited for several reasons. One is I just passed my 5-year mark since I moved to New York. Good or bad, ugly, fun, whatever. It's been a lot of different moments. One thing that's helped me have a good quality of life is my frequent trips back to California. And one reason why those trips are so fun is because that's where Jacque Smillie is. She's been a very good friend of mine for a number of years. I don't really count the years, but I first met her 11 years ago, back in 2003. I was her client, and I stumbled into her office feeling miserable, and I left feeling better, and a week later I felt even better, and I just kept going back, and now I'm feeling the best I've felt in my life. And I owe it to Jacque and her wisdom and her talent and her techniques that she shares so generously with people, which leads me to the reason we're doing our very first Skype interview today. Jacque, why don't you say a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm Jacque Smillie. I have a company called Banishing Fear. Its emphasis is to improve everybody's lives in relationships, finances, health, sleep, energy, open up the mind to their fuller self so they can live a bigger, bolder, more splashy, vibrant life that we all have the capacity to create for ourselves. And the technique that I'm going to be teaching in New York on November 15th is called the One Command. And it is a powerful way of rewriting your subconscious programming that gets in the way, your old negative thought patterns. Janelle is bringing me out because the One Command is working very well for her. We're going to be interviewing each other here for a few minutes. And why don't you tell me what you have experienced using the One Command?
Well, first of all, this class that we're promoting is a direct result of this One Command technique. It sounds circular that the One Command would produce more One Command, but that's the way it is really for us. I'm so excited about it that I have more confidence than I've felt in a long time about anything to bring this to people, number one. Number two, what has it done for me personally? I'll give a very specific example. I was working on a new song, and I can say it was the hardest song I've ever studied. And I know some really hard ones that a lot of singers don't want to do and musicians don't want to try to play. It's just hard. Some of this stuff is difficult. This was the hardest one I've ever learned, and I just wasn't getting it. I was listening to several different versions by different singers, and I just couldn't get my head around it. And finally I thought, well, let's use the One Command on this. And so I went into the meditation, and I said to myself, I don't know how I master this song and own it and sing it from my heart in a way that moves people. I only know that I do so now. I don't know how I get all the notes and all the words and the right timing and the right phrasing to make it beautiful. I only know I do so now. And I went to sleep. I set it aside, took a break, went to sleep, got up the next morning making coffee, not even thinking about the music, and suddenly it popped into my head, and I could hear it very clearly, and I started singing along with the music that was running in my head, and I nailed it from beginning to end that first time through the next morning. So it's really great for learning any kind of challenging material, especially if you want to perform it, or teach it, or speak it, or preach it, whatever it is, something that you want to internalize and get to your audience in a very special, meaningful way. The One Command is really great for that.
Yeah, that's really neat. And I think this interview is particularly important for your community because you have an artist musician community in New York that's quite large and robust, and all of us with a creative spirit want to improve our expression of ourselves more fully. We want to nail the song. We want to sing it in a way that hasn't been sung before, that's truly ours. The One Command it's based on our physiology and our biology, and we actually are slowing down our brain waves to get the analytical thinking quieter, and the part of the brain that always says, yeah, but what about this and what about that, and get all the buts out of there and open up to the potential. I think this could fly. I think this could happen. And we all know the difference between a closed down antagonistic state of mind versus a receptive, open state of mind where you feel that you could just conquer the world and do anything you want. When we're in that state of the world is my oyster, I can fly me to the moon, actually those thoughts, when they penetrate down into our subconscious, actually direct us towards these goals that when we're in the other mind state, we would say is impossible and write off. And it's a phenomenal technique, the One Command. It's developed by Asara Lovejoy, and you could see her speak on YouTube and things like that, or pick up her book. But better yet, try it live. Come to our class. Do you have anything else you want to say about the One Command and about this class coming up on Saturday?
Well, yes. I spoke of it as a performer, but I would like to hear you give an example of how it helps someone's health.
All right. I know somebody who it's made their arthritis quite a bit better. Wow. And you could use it for sleep. I don't know how I sleep solidly through the night. Or for energy and things like that. What happens when we have any kind of physical health problems, it becomes enmeshed with our identity, and we start to be resolved and resigned to always having that. The healing potential that we all have, every one of us has it, but it starts with our thoughts. And the moment we start to be resigned, we sort of stop that healing process. So this is turning the healing back on, giving the cells a different message. I don't know how. I did a woman today for her cataract. Her cataract has been going away. I don't know how. My lens of my eye is clear. I have a healthy lens, and the cataract, and I see clearly. I only know I have great nutrition to my eye. Metabolic delivery of nutrients to my eye is quite healthy, and I am fulfilled. Yeah. And we're working on her vision right now, and there has been some improvement. Yeah.
And I guess a third area of example I would love to hear from you is relationships. Like, my life would be so much better if this person would just snap out of it and be nice to me.
Yeah, I actually have an opposite story real quick. I thought this was really interesting because I hadn't come across it very much, but I was working with a woman who was in a not a very good relationship because even though they got along in many, many, many areas, their core was quite different in their beliefs about life and purpose of life, and do you believe in a divinity or a God, or are you an atheist? And they were quite different at that deep, deep, deep level, so she knew it was doomed. But she kept thinking that she had another failure, that she messed it up. And instead it was, I don't know how I value my core beliefs and respect my beliefs and appreciate and love how I see life and how I interpret it for myself. I only know I want a partner in my life who shares this, where we are harmonious at the deep, deep core level, and I am fulfilled. And what happened with that was they ended up splitting up for this reason. But she said it was the first time she didn't feel bad about a breakup because she wasn't blaming herself. She got it, and it was out of love and respect for herself that she wanted something meaningful that would create lasting harmony. Isn't that interesting?
That's what if there's ever such a thing as a good breakup, that's what we would like to have. If we have
and because it's not at a personal level, there's no mudslinging, they can be friends. So it's very, very, very nice.
Interesting.
So anyway, this I hope is a nice taste for everybody, not only for everyone to see Janelle again, if you've been out of touch with her, look how great she looks and how healthy she is, and she's doing all kinds of great things in New York City for hospice and communicating with hospitals and all kinds of areas to make her community where she is a better place. We're hoping that the One Command will interest you and you'll want to get in touch with your higher, greater self, your greater mind, where you can start to create something even greater than what you have now, or across this next hurdle. It's going to be Saturday, November 15th. You can see it on my website, banishingfear.com, and there's also a link on this email if you're reading this or watching this video in the email. Anything else you want to add, Janelle?
I just can't wait to come out, and we're going to have fun in New York and go out to dinner and teach a class. It's our first class that we're co-teaching, and how far I've come from being your client, crawling in on my hands and knees, feeling miserable, to working with you. It's an honor, and I'm so grateful, and can't wait till the 15th.
Yeah, it's going to be a really kicking high. We're really going to be, it's going to be a great class. Everybody's going to leave in a higher, happier, more fulfilled state of mind.
The way I feel every time I fly back to New York after staying a few days at your house.
Well, so thank you, everybody, and we hope to see you on Saturday, November 15th. Register. You can see it on banishingfear.com under the events. Bye, everybody.